The clean classroom, teamwork makes a happy space. It was Monday morning, and the sun was shining through the big windows of Class 4B. The desks looked a little messy, and some papers were on the floor. The teacher, Miss Sarah, walked into the room with a kind smile. She looked around and said, "Good morning, everyone. How are you today?" The students replied happily, "Good morning, Miss Sarah." After greeting them, Miss Sarah looked again at the floor and the tables. She said gently, "Our classroom looks a little untidy today." What do you think the students looked around to? A few giggled, and one boy named Ollie said, "Yes, teacher, it looks a bit dirty." Another girl, Amina, said, "There are papers and pencil shavings everywhere." Miss Sarah nodded. "You are right," she said. A clean classroom is a happy classroom. When our class is clean, we can think better, learn better, and feel better. So today, I want us to work together to make our classroom clean and beautiful again. The students became excited. Some clapped their hands, and others started to whisper ideas. "Let's do it," said Omar. "We can make teams," said Lena. Yes, Miss Sarah agreed. We will work as a team because teamwork makes everything easier and more fun. Miss Sarah divided the class into small groups. One group picked up the papers from the floor. Another group cleaned the whiteboard. A third group arranged the books on the shelf. The last group cleaned the windows and watered the plants near them. Everyone had a job. At first, some students didn't know where to start. They laughed and talked more than they worked. But then Miss Sarah clapped her hands and said, "Remember, teamwork means helping each other. If one person works and others only talk, that is not teamwork." The students nodded and got serious again. Ollie and Omar started collecting papers and throwing them in the dustbin. They found some old drawings under a desk and laughed. "Look at this funny face," Omar said. Amina and Lena cleaned the shelves. They arranged the books by color and size, and soon the shelf looked very neat and pretty. Near the window, Hadi and Sarah wiped the glass until it shined. "Well, I can see the trees outside clearly now," Sarah said happily. "Yes, it looks beautiful," Hadi replied. Even the students who didn't like cleaning began to smile because the room started to look bright and new again. Miss Sarah walked around the room, watching them work. She was proud of her students. "You are doing a wonderful job," she said. "Look how clean everything looks now." The students felt happy and proud. They saw how their small actions made a big difference. After they finished cleaning, Miss Sarah asked everyone to sit down. The desks were in perfect lines, the floor was clean, and the books were in order. The classroom looked fresh, and the air felt light and calm. "How do you feel now?" Miss Sarah asked. "I feel happy," said Amina. "I feel proud," said Ollie. "I feel peaceful," said Lena. Miss Sarah smiled. "That is what teamwork does. When we work together, we make a happy space not just for ourselves but for everyone." She then told the students that they would make a new class rule. Everyone must help keep the classroom clean every day. "It is not only one person's job," she said. "It is everyone's job." The students agreed and promised to take care of their classroom together. From that day, something changed in Class 4B. Every morning, before lessons started, students checked their desks and the floor. If they saw trash, they picked it up. If a chair was out of place, they pushed it in. Sometimes they even decorated the room with drawings or small plants. Soon, other teachers noticed how clean and cheerful the classroom looked. One teacher said, "Class 4B always looks so nice. How do you do it?" Miss Sarah smiled and said, "It's because my students learned that teamwork makes a happy space." The students felt proud whenever they heard this. They understood that being clean and organized was not only about looks, but also about respect for the classroom, for their friends, and for themselves. One rainy day, when the floor got muddy, no one complained. Instead, they quickly worked together to clean it again. They laughed and sang while they worked, and Miss Sarah joined them. The sound of their laughter filled the room like sunshine on a cloudy day. At the end of the year, Miss Sarah gave each student a small card. On the card, it said, "Thank you for making our classroom a happy space." Teamwork, care, and kindness live here. The students kept those cards and remembered that lesson forever. Whenever they went to a new class or met new people, they carried that spirit with them. They knew that any place could become a happy space if people worked together with respect, kindness, and teamwork. And so, Class 4B stayed not only the cleanest class in the school, but also the happiest one, where everyone felt welcome, calm, and proud to belong.